Okay, hello, this is a video on factorising quadratics with a coefficient of x squared. Okay, so if you look at the previous video, there is a video on factorising quadratics where there is no number in front of x squared. Okay, so coefficient just means number in front of. So if there is no number in front of x squared, then you need to watch the video before, well not the video before, but the video on factorising quadratics to see how you factorise those, okay? There is also on that video how you do the difference of two squares. So sometimes there is a number in front of x squared there, but it's a special number, it's a special case, it's a square number, and it falls under the difference of two squares, okay? So today we're going to look at how we're going to factorise something like this, 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. Now hopefully from the previous work you've done in the last video, you will notice that this is a quadratic, which means when we factorise it, we are expecting it to appear in two brackets. Okay. Now the difference this time is previously when there isn't a number in front of x squared, you just have an x in both brackets, whereas now we're going to have one of them is going to have to be, in this case, a 2x in order to get the 2x squared. Okay, and the difficulty is you need to know which bracket that needs to go in, etc, etc. Okay, so we're going to do 3 examples with varying different signs so that hopefully you can just get an idea of what's happening with your positives and negatives. Okay, we're going to call the number in front of x squared a, the number in front of x b, and the number on the end c. So what I would like you to do first of all is write down what your a, b and c are. Okay, you need to be careful what the signs are. If they're negative, you need to say that they're negative. So here is the first one, a is 2, b is 11, and c is 5. We are then going to write down the value of AC, A times C. So AC is A times C, which is 2 times 5, which is 10. Okay, we are then looking for two numbers that multiply to get 10 and add to get 11. Okay, if you can't think of them, think of your factors of 10. So we've got 1 and 10, 2 and 5. So which pair of those numbers adds to get 11? Obviously, it's going to be 1 and 10. Now, if there was no number in front of x squared, you could then just plonk those two in the brackets. But as there is a number in front of x squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this equation, but we're going to split our b up to make it 1x and 10x. Okay, so we're going to rewrite it out. We've got 2x squared plus 1x, which is just x, plus 10x plus 5. Doesn't matter which way around you write these because it will work either way. Okay, we're then going to pop a line down the middle. You're going to ignore this side and you are going to factorise this into a single bracket. So what's common to 2x squared and x is x. Open up the bracket. What do I have to times x by to get 2x squared? 2x. What do I have to times x by to get x? 1. Then we can ignore this side and factorise this into a single bracket. So what's common to 10x and 5 is 5. What do I have to times 5 by to get 10x? 2x. What do I have to times 5 by to get 5? Plus 1. Okay, then if you step away, you will notice that this bracket and that bracket are exactly the same. That means that factorising this, one of your brackets is 2x plus 1. If they are not the same, you have done something wrong. Okay, they have to be the same. And our other bracket is going to be the thing on the outside. So we've got an x and we've got a positive 5. So our other bracket is x plus 5. And that is your solution. Okay. Right, let's look at a second example. Example number 2, we are going to do 6x squared plus 7x minus 3. Okay, and we're going to factorise this. Okay, so same thing again. We're going to write down our a, b and c. So your a is 6, b is 7, and c is minus 3. Be careful that you put in your symbol, your sign, okay? Then we write down AC. AC is 6 times minus 3, which is minus 18. Okay, we're looking for two numbers that times to get minus 18 and add to get 7. So we've got a times to get AC and add to get B. Okay, if we have got to times to get a negative, that means we need to have one positive and one negative. And in this case, our two numbers need to be 7 numbers apart. Okay, so we're thinking of two numbers that add to get 7 and times to get minus 18. You might want to think of your factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Which pair are going to be 7 apart from each other? Is going to be 2 and 9. And when we add them together, we need to get positive 7. So if when we add them we need to get a positive number, that means our biggest number has to be positive. If you were adding them and you had to get a negative number, so if this b was negative, then we'd need our biggest numbers to be negative. Okay, so it's plus 9, minus 2. So same thing, we're going to rewrite this equation, but we're going to split the middle bit into plus 9 and minus 2. Okay, doesn't matter which way around you write those, as long as you've got the plus with the 9 and the minus with the 2. Right, line down the middle. Ignore this side, we're going to factorise this into a single bracket. So what's common to 6x squared and 9x? 3x. Open your bracket. What do I have to times 3x by to get 6x squared? 2x. What do I have to times 3x by to get 9x? 3. Okay, this next one. If there is a minus here, I always suggest you take a minus outside your bracket. So I'm going to take out a factor of minus, and there is no other number that comes out in front that goes into 2x and 3. So I'm just going to take a minus 1 out here. What do I have to times minus 1 by to get minus 2x? 2x. What do I have to times minus 1 by to get minus 3? Well, I've got to times it by a positive 3, because minus times a positive makes a minus. These two brackets are the same, which is happy days. That's what we need to happen. So that is one of your brackets, and your other bracket is the thing on the outside. So it's 3x minus 1. That is it factorised. Okay, right, let's do our last one. We're going to do our last one as a solve, just to make sure you are happy. So we're going to solve 20x squared minus 49x plus 9 equals 0. Now please remember, sorry I'm a bit wonky, please remember that when you are solving a quadratic, you are going to get two solutions, and when you solve your quadratic, it has to equal 0, okay, otherwise you cannot solve it. So here we go. We're going to write down A, B and C. So A is 20, B is minus 49, C is 9, AC is 180. So we've got a times to get 180, add to get minus 49. If they've got to times to get a positive, the only way we can times to get a positive is to either have two positives or two negatives. And given they have to add to get a negative, they're going to have to be two negatives. Okay? Think of your factors of 180. Now, this might be a bit trickier to think of factors. So, if it is trickier, if you get to this point and you think, oh, I've got no idea about any others, you can use what I call the Calloway Trick, which is, if you've got a pair, whatever you do to one, you do the opposite to the other. So, if we know that 2 and 90 are a pair, if I double the 2, I'd have to halve the 90. So 4 and 45 would work. Okay? And again, if I doubled that, I'd have to halve that. Okay? It's probably quite obvious with these ones, but in case it's not obvious, make sure that you are aware of how you can generate lots of factors. Okay? Anyway, we are thinking of two numbers. They both have to be negative and they have to add to get 49. So any of these going to be 49 apart? Yes. 4 and 45 are. So minus 4 minus 45 does give us minus 49. Okay? So we're going to rewrite this equation and we're going to split this into minus 4 and minus 45. Again, doesn't matter what order you're writing it in. Keep the 0 on the end so that you're happy with that. Okay, then we're going to do a line down the middle. This into a single bracket. Common to 20x squared and 4x is going to be 4x. Open your bracket up. What do I have to times 4x by to get 20x squared is 5x. What do I have to times 4x by to get 4x? 1. Then, as there is a negative here, I suggest you take out a minus. So we've got to take a minus out. What goes into 45x and 9 is 9, so I'm taking minus 9 out. What do I have to times minus 9 by to get minus 45x? 5x. What do I have to times minus 9 by to get positive 9? Well, a minus times a minus makes a plus, so I've got to have a minus, and it'll be minus 1. Okay? That makes my two brackets. These two are the same, so that one of my brackets is 5x minus 1. The other bracket is 4x minus 9. Now, if the question asks us to factorise, of course, that's where you stop, but it didn't. It asked us to solve, which means we're trying to find our values of x. So, once you've got to this point, you then take each bracket and you make it equal 0. So I've got 5x minus 1 equals 0, 4x minus 9 equals 0. I'm then going to solve each one as a linear equation. So I'm adding 1 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide by 5. Now obviously that is not going to be a very nice number is going to be 0.2, but I would just leave it as a fraction. 1 divided by 5 is going to be a fifth. Same over here. Add 9 to both sides. 4x equals 9. Divide by 4. X equals 9 over 4. So your two values of x are x is a fifth or x is 9 over 4.